Hi, folks. Welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch another hot, sultry day here in the Ozarks. Summer's come in with the bang around here. We had a very mild and wet spring. Not like a lot of flooding, because a lot of times that happens. We get a lot of flash flooding. Well, we had a little bit, but nothing really severe. It was just like a continual all the time. Not all the time, but often. Lots of rain. And then all of a sudden, now it's hot. Hot, sultry, humid. It feels like the middle of the summer. Gonna take a break from talking about all the Iran and, Israel and all that kind of stuff, because part of it is, who knows what's going on? My goodness, it's just the back and forth information constantly. And I'm not saying that this is what I believe, but, it gets to the point that you start to wonder, how much of this is even real? I mean, when you really think about it, could they have staged a lot of this? Could this just be a big, deep state kind of thing to just suck the world into it? I don't know. I do believe that most of these world leaders and stuff are just, they're all part of the same club, and they're, a lot of this stuff. I mean, I'm not saying that they don't at times like each other, or they don't want to kind of knock each other down to take over and stuff. I mean, I look at it like the mafia, right? You have the mafia. They're all in on it, right? They're all in on the same game. Are there fights and feuds and blood wars within the mafia? Absolutely. Absolutely. But in the end, they're all in it. Right, they're all in on the scheme, on the game, on what they're doing. So I think the world governments and stuff are very similar to that. Anyway, so I wanted to take a little different direction slightly, even though the last several days I have talked about this a lot. Still, that this push and this rise to this advanced technology is really one of the things that we should be very, very aware of and actively defending ourselves against. They're going to slip it in. It's not going to be, hey, everyone, we have this microchip that we're going to implant in your wrist so that you can worship Satan. It's not going to be like that, folks. They're going to slip it in. I mean, did you see it was a few years ago during COVID. I believe it was, what was the health food store? I can't remember the name of it. We don't have any of them around here, but it's a grocery store. It's known for Whole Foods. There it is, Whole Foods, where when you go to pay for your food, you don't have to hand them cash. You don't have to pull your debit card or credit card out and swipe it. You don't even have to, now you don't even have to swipe it. Now you just kind of tap it, right? You don't even have to do any of that, because they have the biometrics of your hand. And as you walk through to pay for your groceries, you just take your hand and you just hover over this little reader, and it reads your hand. And so it has all the biometric data, your handprint on it. And of course they were selling it as this great new thing. It's fast, it's convenient. You don't have to worry about remembering your wallet. If you can leave your wallet at home, and then you don't have to worry about it getting stolen. Right? You don't have to worry about someone, stealing your credit card number and all that kind of stuff, because you just wave your hand over it. And it's easy. And plus, you don't have to touch anything, so you don't have to worry about getting all these diseases. It's a great thing that now we have your biometric data that you just swipe over. And that does start to sound a lot like prophecies in Scripture, in Revelation, where, you won't be able to buy, trade, sell, or anything without this mark. So I'm not saying that's what it is, just saying it sounds like that. So anyways, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the Health and Human Services Secretary, he was talking before, I believe it was a Senate committee, or the Senate, I think it was a Senate committee, and he was talking about, Maha, Make America Healthy Again, and how they're going to dump a bunch of money into a new program, and they're going to push this thing because they really believe. And he made, there's a long video of it where he's making this point, and I mean, he makes some points of how Americans can become healthier through wearing, wearables. Some of you know what that is. Some of it's, all the new watches now. They're all little, like little mini iPhones, basically little mini smartphones that connect to your smartphone, and they take all of your data. They're able to check your blood sugar and your blood pressure and your body temperature and your heart rate and all of this kind of stuff, and it's transmitted into your phone. And there's, of course, tons of apps and things that can tell you're not moving enough, you're moving too much, you need to take a break, you need to drink water, you need to eat more, eat less, all this kind of stuff. And maybe it's not a watch, maybe it's just a little watch, a little band. They're wearables. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's the thing. It's been a thing for a while. Anyways, what I'm getting to is, and I'm going to show you a video clip of this, but or at least a shortened one. He's saying that this new program that they're going to push is to encourage everyone in America to be wearing one of those things. And he says that he believes that it can help improve America's health, and that they want to see every American wearing one of those things. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that those wearables are Satan and they're going to, it's the mark of the beast or anything. I'm sure that many of you watching right now have them because they are extremely popular. But here's the thing. It is more data collecting. It is more collecting your data, and if everyone starts to wear them, and if they get to where most of the countries wearing them, it would be very easy, very feasible, along with Palantir's little central database of Americans. And this goes, if you go back far enough, it was, where they were these fusion centers where they're collecting all of this data, and some of them collected medical data and financial data and all this kind of stuff. So this big collection, now we're turning it over to AI, and so it's able to tell Americans, or tell if Americans are healthy or not. It's able to say, look and say, hey, this guy's eating too much garbage, needs to lose some weight, not eating healthy enough by what the government standard is. This guy is doing really good. And it starts to sound like, or at least has the capabilities of morphing into a type of social credit system. I mean, that's kind of what goes on over in China. If you don't lead a healthy life, and a life that's healthy for you, a life that's healthy for the environment, your social credit score goes down, and then you can't get loans, or the loans that you get have higher interest rates, or you don't get all these little benefits. Maybe you can't ride the city bus, or all of this ridiculous stuff. Now, I'm not saying that's exactly what this is, but I am saying that it's opening that doorway, and that's how government works. It's incremental. They don't pick you up and throw you in a pot of boiling water, because you'll naturally jump out of it. They put you in a nice, bath where it just feels good, and then let's warm it up a little bit. It'll be nice. Oh, let's get it to where it's bubbling good, because it's just like a big old hot tub. Oh, this it feels good on my back. Oh, this is good. Let's heat it up a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and then the next thing you're cooked. Okay, watch this little video clip of RFKJ.
We think that wearables are a key to the Maha agenda, making America healthy again. And we are going to, my vision is that every American is wearing a wearable within 4 years.
All right. Like I said, that's just the shortened version. He goes on and he talks about how, there's evidence, data showing that if, you're wearing these kinds of things, that you can, become healthier. It's notifying you, it's telling you, it's saying, hey, you're eating too much. Hey, you need to eat more. Hey, you need to exercise more. You haven't walked enough today. Your blood sugar's high. It's low. Your heart rate's high, low. It's giving you notifications. It's whether it is now, some of it is, not all of it, but it's using artificial intelligent type algorithms that will just get bigger and smarter and better. And it's keeping track of your health. This is definitely connected to going back to Trump's first day in office in the White House, Oval Office, where you had all these AI gurus standing there talking about how it's gonna control your health. You know, you're not gonna be diseased anymore because the AI is gonna take your biometrics and it's gonna customize a vaccine for you that's gonna heal you, and of course it's going to be created by nanorobots and, you know, all this kind of stuff. And I know this sounds crazy, and there's still some of you sitting there rolling your eyes and unsubscribing and going to make some ridiculous comment in the comment section. But none of the things that I'm saying right now are false. I mean, I may be adding a little bit of my opinion to them, but I assure you they're not false. And when you follow the trail, they are definitely trying to create this system to where they control you. They control your health, and they're going to tell you what's healthy and what's not. And I'm all for healthy, and I'm all for getting off all the you know, the junk and the garbage. I get that. But not when government's telling me what's healthy, not when government's forcing me and controlling me and saying, oh, you want to be healthy? Well, guess what? You have to be healthy. And if you're not, we're going to, you know, knock your credit scores and your social credit scores, and you're going to be an outcast of society. You're going to have to pay a higher tax rate, and, you know, all this kind of stuff that could easily eventually happen later on down the road. We're going to monitor you. You know, if I had the choice of being healthy and monitored by government or being really unhealthy, I'd take really unhealthy, because my personal freedom is almost the most important thing to me. I mean, it's not the most, you know, my relationship with God and Yeshua, that's number one, my family. But freedom is right there, because freedom affects those things, right? And I'm telling you, this is the direction that we're going. You know, I can see the very real possibility, this push for, you know, we got to have peace. We got to have peace and have trade, open trade and peace, and the golden age and everything. Well, that has to be managed. There has to be something or someone that ensures that that peace is managed, and to ensure that there's free and open trade and currencies that would work openly like that. There has to be someone or something that does that. And it's too big of a job for humans, and humans have their personal opinions, and it would conflict, and there would be eventually not peace. So why not turn it over to a neutral entity that's smarter than humans, that can act and react and think faster than humans, and that can manage the world under peace? Well, the only thing that exists on this planet that would fulfill those shoes is either Jesus, who will eventually do that in a true, real way, or artificial intelligence. And so you can figure out where we're headed. I'm not telling you don't wear those wearables and the smartwatches and all that kind of stuff. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that, you know, if we start to see government really push for everyone to have them, that should be a big red flag. Folks, it's time to get your houses in order and prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.